I'm pretty bullish on the space over the next year because of how I just see the Fed having such limited options and how I think that will play out for the market.
To a year since we last spoke. So what's been the most shocking thing that's caught your attention during that time, Gwen?
Shocking. That's quite a question. I guess there's been a few very specific things that are surprising. I think the uranium market is one of those. So we can dive into that. There's been some pretty exciting things happening in the uranium space that I think have a lot of room left to run and a lot of opportunity. So that's not shocking, but it's surprising and fun, and that's always good. On the more macro side, I mean, inflation is the story of the day, and you can talk endlessly about it and where it's coming from, where it's going, what it means. But obviously it's been the story of the day. And so as someone who spends a lot of time thinking about gold, I've spent a lot of time therefore thinking about inflation and what it all means in this market where investors are primarily obsessed with two things. I think what the Fed is going to do and where they can find the most speculative investments, right? And by that, I've been commenting, I've said in the last few days a few times, I used to say that one of the things I really loved about being a mining focused investor was that I was investing in things that were tangible, like, a pound of copper, an ounce of gold, things that, you need to make cell phones or whatever. And now it's ironically the downside of mining. It's like everybody wants to invest in like Shiba Inu coins, which are a joke on a joke, rather than investing in something tangible. So it's a sort of a cruel irony that mining investors find themselves in. Has that been shocking? It's shocking suggests something sudden, but it's shocking in its persistence, how long investors are remaining focused on these very speculative. I'm not trying to degrade the virtual currency world. I'm just saying that, the speculative focus to the detriment of all value investing the persistence of that has been a bit shocking to me.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting perspective. Talk to me about what you're doing in the precious metal sector.
Yeah, I was I was holding off. I was treading water, not really doing it. I was selling some things. I think you always need to be buying and always need to be selling, because if you're frozen in your portfolio, that's probably not good. I mean, it probably suggests that you're scared to sell or that you're sure that things are going to improve from here. And neither of those are good positions to stand in. So I think you always need to be buying and selling. And also for me, capital isn't bottomless. So I probably need to sell some things if I want to buy some things. And when a sector is as trading as weekly as gold is, there's always going to be opportunities out there that are good. So I want to be able to liquidate some, capital here to move it into new opportunities. I hadn't been doing a lot of the buying side of that through the summer and into the early fall. It just felt very sideways. And I really felt like we needed a bit more in this Fed obsessed market. We needed to get closer to a move from the Fed, because I felt like everything was just gold was just sort of stuck doing this until we got there. And like I say, gold at $1,800, $1,750, that's a fantastic gold price. Gold miners are making buckets of cash, but it's not enough. It has to be rising to bring new investors into the equity side. And I didn't see that happening in a dramatic way until we got close to do a Fed decision. And of course, you and I are talking here on November 3rd. We just had a Fed decision an hour and a half ago. And guess what? They did the thing that we all expected them to do, because they telegraphed their moves so broadly now, which is they're tapering their bond buying program and not raising rates. And they made very clear in their minutes, in fact, that they're not planning to raise rates anytime soon. So all of that was actually as expected. And the market hasn't reacted dramatically because guess what? They telegraph everything. But I think what I see happening from here, and it's dangerous to make predictions, but I'm going to wade into dangerous waters, is I think the market's going to throw a fit once this progresses to some extent, right? If we keep tapering bond buying and, the Fed starts suggesting that there might be a rate hike, the market has learned, look back to 2018, that they don't have to put up with that. They just have to throw a fit. And then the Fed, whose unspoken mandate is now to support the stock market, says, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to threaten the all-important stock market. And then they sort of backtrack on things. And that is oversimplified, sort of cynical description of the rock and hard place that the Fed has painted itself into, right? Like, what can it do? Raise rates until it causes a recession to get rid of inflation? Well, that's not a good answer either. So the Fed doesn't have a lot of options left, and everybody knows that they're really sort of stuck. And so should the market start to deteriorate, they're going to find those options even more limited. All of that to say, I really think that gold usually likes the start of a tightening cycle because it's official validation of inflation, as though months and months of inflation numbers weren't good enough. Apparently they're not. But usually the start of a tightening cycle is supportive of gold. So I do think gold is going to do well off the back of this announcement once we get through some absorb the news sort of volatility. And then I think, should this continue anywhere close to my suggestion, if they start to suggest that they might raise rates, and there's a tantrum, I think that is fantastic for gold, because it maintains very negative real rates because inflation keeps rising and rates are not going anywhere. That makes negative real rates. That's the fundamental argument for gold. And then if you do get some gold price increases, then how at some point the money that miners are making has to start to stand out, even in this, as we discussed at the beginning, speculative, obsessed world. I mean, Freeport-McMoRan just committed like 80% of their free cash flow to dividends. The dividend yield among miners is almost 3% versus like 1.3% in the rest of the market. They're in net cash positions. Most of the rest of the market, to be broad, is swimming in debt, and miners are net cash. They are incredibly strong. And so if we get just a little bit more excitement in the gold price, I really think that those floodgates could open. And so, yes, I am similarly increasing of late my positions. And there's a lot of stocks out there that are very clearly undervalued, whether it's producers and you look at, NPVs, or whether it's, development projects, and you just see that their trends are down, but they've been checking all the boxes and marching forward, and the M&A cycle has to increase at some point. I'm pretty bullish on the space over the next year because of how I just see the Fed having such limited options and how I think that will play out for the market.
Okay. Now, I have to ask, if you tell me you're increasing positions in certain companies, any names that you want to get into today, Gwen, and share with us about why you like them?
Sure. Why don't I do a few different parts of the space. So if you want to go on the developers end of thing, I don't do a lot of producers, so I'll just start on the developers side of thing. I mean, Orezone that's ORE as the ticker. They're building a gold mine in Burkina Faso, and the team at Orezone is incredibly good at building gold mines. Patrick Downey has done it many times before, and he's always come in, he's done what he said he's going to do and produced very functional, effective gold mines. And I really think Orezone is nearing what we call that golden runway, where usually a share price really increases as you get to within, 8 months of production. And production is that key moment, right, where you turn from spending money to making money. So usually share prices ramp up in anticipation of that moment. So I think Orezone is a good bet on that front. I think Adventus Mining is an interesting copper bet. I know we haven't spoken a lot about copper lately, but I am as bullish on copper as I am on gold. A little bit more of a build a position and they will come perspective. I don't know if it's going to happen next month or in the next 6 months, but the copper gap is very real. So Adventus has a project in Ecuador that should be built and operational probably within 2 years, I think, for sure. And I think there's a good chance that they get taken out. It's high grade. There's exploration upside. It's an easy asset. So I really like that as a copper name. That's the word. And then if I move down the chain a little bit, Integra is not yet building a mine, but I think the team there, sort of like the Orezone's idea. They've done it before. They've built an asset. They've sold an asset. They're very real operators, and they're about to come out with a new mine plan for their Delamar project that I think is going to sort of blow the socks off of the market, because it's going to be a lot bigger and more economic than the initial plan that they put out for a whole bunch of reasons. And then if I was going to mention one exploration stock, who should I mention as one exploration stock? I've got lots that I like. How about Heliostar? So Heliostar has a couple projects. Their flagship is the Unga project in Alaska. There's 4 different target areas there. There's a defined resource already, but Charles Funk is the geologist. He's doing a standout job of figuring that project out. It's very high grade. It's very exciting. So that's Alaska. But then Charles has a long history in Mexico. And when he came and sort of took over Heliostar 18 months ago, he also brought in a portfolio of early stage assets in Mexico that Heliostar will start drilling this winter. And so that keeps news flow going. And I mean, they look hot. Some of these exploration targets look very hot. So I'm pretty excited to see what Heliostar can churn out from its summer drill program, the results of which are still pending in Alaska. And then as it moves down to Mexico to start exploring down there.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.